In this hopefully very fast exercise, I'm going to show you how we're not going to be afraid of an empty piece of paper, and we'll use it to put down very quickly some basic lines to explore and capture an initial idea. This phase is very fast. It's only meant as kind of like a thumbnailing sketch. And then we will bring in our reference images, scale them correctly, and use those to very quickly sketch a more refined version of our design over it, exploring more design details, etc. And then finishing this exercise by adding more descriptive elements like titles, annotations, descriptions of the views to this presentation to simply make it look more finished. Okay, to a new empty document. First thing what we want to do is set up actually our tools. I have here the soft pencil, then the hard pencil, then you can see the pen, marker, and at the end here I have the dotted line, which is a really nice tool to use. Also, all the pens have exactly the same color. I'm not using black, which is way too dark. I'm using a cold gray, the C10. Very good. Okay, so we will also make sure our dimensions here are set. So 11 by 8.5. We don't have any grid set up, plain white paper. We are working in inches. Very good. Perfect. So on one layer, now we turn our manuals or the sorting to manual. Very good. And we will then use the first layer to quickly sketch out our initial ideas. Again, this phase is simply going to be very useful for capturing an idea. It is not meant to do something that is precise. It's really more in the shortest amount of time, in the dirtiest way possible, put stuff down so we don't forget it. But there's still techniques or tips to make this more controlled. So it should be a chair. Okay, so I need some sort of a rectangular base. This is basically what I'm going to sit on. This is from the front, and this is going to be the piece from the top view. Okay, so from the front, now I'm going to imagine this is maybe roughly where my position is, where I sit. I have some legs. Okay, there I would like to have a backrest that is kind of like maybe, yeah, going around, and then in the back it connects. And then here you see I'm adding more lines to it, adding a little bit more detail to the part. So I sketched rather loosely, and then with more pressure, I added more details to it. So now we need to take a look at this from the side. There you see I'm transferring the lines over. There's the back. Here, okay, very good. And we set in the back, well, maybe here this lines up. There is the backrest. Okay, then the arm. I'm not sure, does the arm actually go really to the front, or does it maybe stop there? I don't know yet. And then, as always, more lines make stuff look more interesting. And you see the quality is pretty janky. It's not really clean. This is not meant to look clean. This is really more as I only have 1 minute time and I have this genius idea and I do not want to forget it. Okay, so this is my front, side, top view. Cool. Okay, let's maybe do a quick isometric preview. So middle line, left, right, there, very good. This should be again more like a cube. Yeah, this looks like a cube, very good. Yeah, a little bit of correction of my cube, very good. Now if I pay attention to kind of like the height position, good. So this would be the sitting area. There, putting this down. And then here I know there will be an arc. On top will be an arc. Very good. Then this goes down. Here something for the leg. Okay, then here this will go over. Now because this part is centered. So yeah, that like actually would be only visible here. Okay, so a tiny detail, very good. And then the armrest goes over. Here maybe it goes down. Bring this over. There will connect. Lines a little bit. No, the lines. The sketch is a little bit messy, difficult to read. So a little bit more of contrast on the contour helps the whole piece to pop out. Yeah. Now we can see, no? That's actually not too bad. We can somewhat understand what this design is supposed to be. Very good. It's not nice, it's not clean, not correct. Again, this is just only meant as a quick idea. So this is done, and now we can do the following. This layer I will rename idea, for example. And with the lasso select, I will select everything. I will set the scaling to scale and then simply scale it down, put it to somewhere else. So we can keep this as a mental note. At this point now, it is actually time to bring our sketch idea into a more refined format. So I brought in our volunteers from dimensions.com. I have here two different views, front view and a side view. From the front, from the side really helps me because, well, also here in the sketch, we will do a front and a side view sketch. Okay, so I want to make sure that these two images are scaled to the same dimension. Okay, good. Now see the bottom line is pretty good. The seating line is good. Now the head with the figure on the right, the head is higher. Well, that's because this pose, the person is sitting straight, and here the person is hunching forward. Okay, good. Now, how do we continue? How do we establish scale? Is this even something that is important? Maybe not, because I can draw a line and simply based on how big this image is or smaller, we kind of like know it represents the seating height. Very good. So with the lasso, we can select these two, position this where it's actually useful, kind of like there. Very good. And then let's make a new layer. This layer, we will lower the transparency. No, the opacity, increase the transparency. And I will now basically redo the same what we did here. But because this is now round 2, I can detail elements out in a more proportional scale, correct scale. So also here, I do everything pretty much freehand. So when 18 is actually my sitting height, okay, that means when I selected this line, I can make a copy and then I will rotate this line so it's horizontal. Very good. That is actually now the width of my cube. You see how I quickly blocked out a proportional cube. Then I can bring this over to there. This line goes. Here I make a copy, bring this over. This I make a copy, bring this down. Very good. And I can select everything and make from all this a copy and bring it over to here. There. Okay, so looks like our figure here needs to be a little bit bigger. I'll just rotate it here a little bit. There. Okay, I just undid my rotation. Now there I can change this. Okay, very good. Yeah. There we can see this actually a little better, even how the head height is slightly different. Okay, very good. Again, these figures are more really meant to give us a proportional guide. They're not meant to be a one-to-one translation anyway. So back to the layer, back to this pen. I can now quickly make myself a copy of all these lines I have here and just bring this down. So it's just a rectangle as a copy. If I mess up, then I can go back. Okay, this is a lot of talking. Let's quickly start sketching. This time I will actually start working more on this side. Okay, so here is the side view. There, okay. There we are. Very good. There, very nice. Also here, you see I'm trying to block this one out. Multiple lines over each other. I personally would rotate the iPad a lot, but because for video demonstration, that is not really something that would work well. I draw actually more towards my body. Here I'm following a little bit the idea from the initial first video. There's the backrest. Maybe let's see how this lines up. Okay, so this is where it is. Now, how do I get all this stuff over? Little trick. I will simply draw myself a line and then you see bring guidelines over. Okay, then this I make back to 0. And now if I go up here, you see, zack, zack, there are my helpers. Very good. The legs are pretty substantial there. Okay, here's the connection. There we are. And we have something in the back. How do we find quickly the midpoint of a back or the center there if this was done correctly? There. Actually, oh yeah, here we are slightly off. So you see, a little bit of inaccuracy can have quite an impact. Very good that this problem happened, because what I'm actually demonstrating here is the reason why we say don't draw small. When you draw small, students try to tend to draw small because then it can hide things. But the problem is if you start drawing small, mistakes really will be visible. I was off with this line here just a little bit, and that's the reason why my midpoint didn't really work. Very good. So you see how I quickly found kind of like this midline. This helps me now to very quickly then say, okay, here and there. Yeah, this is the piece. Then let's sketch this over there. And again, a sketch made out of just few lines does not look good. One very easy method, technique is add more lines to it. That will make everything simply look more rich. Yeah, that is the center line actually I keep. This piece here is actually quite nice. Okay, very good. Now, a quick variation, what I can do. I go to the lasso, very good. And can select all this, make myself a copy, move this maybe to here. And now see, okay, so how would this actually look if I go ahead and start putting in rounded details? Okay, yeah, do I like this? Yeah, it's actually not too bad. Okay, so now let's go ahead and where feasible, we put those in. Very good. Okay. At the sides here and there, I do not, because later this will make the sketching a little bit easier. So I can, however, rotate it this way. Very good. So in comparison, this now needs to update a little bit. So I can go ahead and put this stuff in here. Very good. There and there, there. Sock. Okay. Now, do we keep this at the same position? Do we shorten the arm a little bit? I don't know. Maybe I just sketch this one out this way there first. Cool. Okay, there you see. Not really complicated. Very logical how I started this initial idea, and then we started sketching something out to this. This detail here was just a helper. I can now select it and delete it. Very good. There we are. Cool. Yeah. What else can we now do? Let's go back to this pen here. There we are. We might want to also take a look at this top view. So I bring this element over. There we are. Quickly sketch this out there, and maybe this. So you see, this way I can actually find the midpoints when I would like to sketch an arc. Where would this arc really go in? There. From the top, we might not really see much, but maybe now here I can think about, well, what about outside is a hard shell, and then the inside we do an upholstery. Okay, that stuff needs to have some sort of material thickness. Now the line here, what I sketched out, or this thickness is more guessed, no? If this is maybe a good point to pause for a moment and take a look at the measurement stuff. So if I go ahead and create myself here a line, zip, like this, and then let's select this line. How long is this? This is 19 inches, because I already have actually a drawing scale 1 to 10. Very good. So this is 19 inches. That means if I select this line and I allow this to rotate, look at that. I kind of like have a, well, a ruler actually. So this is 2 inches. So the way how I drew this one. Isn't that cool? Yeah. So this basically is a little helper. Okay. Now I can take a real ruler in real life, take a look at how thick is 2 inches. Is this actually good? How big is this gap here? Well, yeah, kind of like 4 inches. Okay, good. Very nice. And here we turn this back off and we delete it. Very good. So this is all nice and good. Let's take the lasso. We activate, select everything, and we move all the stuff maybe a little bit to here. The figures were more a helper. Now it's also time to do our perspective sketch. I do the perspective sketch actually on a new layer. So let's hide actually everything for a moment and talk about how do I plot this one out. So we know when I do simply a very basic isometric view that yeah, it will look a little bit funny. Funny because it's not very correct. Now these lines are parallel. It's an easy way to draw, but it is not really a very visually pleasant, interesting view. So when I decide, okay, I have one vanishing point here and one vanishing point there, and this is my horizon line, this is my ground, so I can plot down 2 lines, 90 degrees. This is now the maximum point I can go down, which means if I bring this one up, bring this over there and there and there, very good. So this would be kind of like a perspective possible view. No, I will do this one more time just to show you the difference. No, we make this actually less strong and go up and maybe go to there. So you see how I'm actually moving everything up. These boxes are kind of crude. This is more meant to show you how I'm picking a view. Because it's important now for us to decide, do I look at this from the front, like I'm actually on my knees, or I'm looking more onto this from the top. Obviously, this view is much better. Okay, good. So this is my perspective outline. I can keep this for the moment. And this might be not a bad moment to sharpen our pencil a little bit, and I'm making it nice and straight. And so there goes my line down. There, very good. Oh, 1 second. The lines got really skinny here. And maybe I have to draw them a little bit more with an angle. Yeah, there. Okay. Actually, hold on. Let me go back. It's because this is a box. I have this soft pencil here. The difference between the soft and the hard is with the soft pencil, when you press hard, it really gets thicker. It's kind of like a lot of graphite in it. And with the hard pencil, you can press harder. It, however, doesn't get as hard. So the hard pencil is actually a good tool to quickly block out maybe the grid line behind. And I'm correcting this a little bit. There, there. Yeah, okay, so this one, we delete now. Good. And there's the line in the back. Okay. Come on, there. Very good. Okay, so now we have the box down. On this layer, I will now, coming from the vanishing point. Actually, I should not have deleted that layer. Oh, this is so good. We have the undo abilities. So I go undo a few times. There we are. This actually now I will lower a little bit in transparency so I can see my sketch better. Very good. So, okay, we have the seating area. Now we want to very quickly sketch this stuff out. I will block this part out. So I assume, and this is my vanishing point, going to the vanishing point. Yeah, so it's somewhere there. From here to the vanishing point. There. Very good. And then I'm kind of like ghosting. Okay, it seems like it's there. Very nice. Good. These lines are a little bit long. And let's trim them. And then all this we delete. Bye-bye. Okay. Sweet. So this box is done. Now I make a new layer. And let's work on the actual furniture piece. So I try to kind of like block out the legs. To the front, the legs will get wider. It's closer to us. And you might remember, hey, we also have this crisscross stuff in here. And maybe from the vanishing point, zip, there's my midpoint, and zip, there's my other midpoint. Okay, good. Thank you. Actually, that split tool they put in is really super handy. Very good. So, going back. This can go a little bit more parallel. No, because I have actually these lines, I can trace the part. If it's too difficult to see what's the underlay and what is my actual piece, you see, then we can simply go ahead and start adding actually more visibility by changing the transparency. Now it's really easy to continue drawing. So zack, you go to there, you go to here. This actually goes straight down. And then from here to there to there. So I start drawing and go an arc. So for the back, now this goes down and there we are. Since we work on the lower part, I would like to do now the back leg. So I will give myself here a quick helper line. Make this nice and vertical. And then this line, I just move to the back so that it overlaps right there. So here, because now I know where actually it is in the back. Technically speaking, this can't be a flat line. This also has to be a little bit of an arc. So kind of like try to arc this a little bit, and then here this goes up and there. Okay, very good. Yeah, good. And this line here, we retire. Cool. Okay. There we are. By accident, I hit actually a few more layers. Let's remove those. There we are. To now continue, we also have the armrest. See here how I'm bringing these lines up, and also here this is there, and then yeah, down eyeball. The way how we think stuff looks very often is not the way how it looks. It is better if we construct it. Trust me. And then this goes in there. Okay. So here might actually be a connection. That other connection we don't really see. Very good. Okay. Here's a hard edge. Yeah. Very nice. So now we actually have a more refined perspective piece, and we can go over one more layer. And now we actually add all the details and we can start tracing that stuff. Good. We would like the legs to be around there. And also here, this will be around. This will be around. There you see how, when I talk about drawing, is really a process. Don't be intimidated by it. It really is just not, you start left corner and then you finish the right corner. Not to say it's science, but it's not like some magical stuff too. It literally is just how you construct something smartly. Then I will stop here for the moment, drawing the piece back, because what here we would like to do, so this is the vanishing point there. Here I will now put in this arc, and you see then, whoa, where are we? Whoops. We will go to here, so there we will do the same. Okay, very nice, good. And then this is the midpoint. See, I'm following this arc, and then here, this is the top part. So, yeah. Okay, very good. There. See how I constructed that upholster in the armrest. Now, mesh lines are very helpful. Center, here's one mesh line. This thing goes in. This goes to the vanishing point. Yeah. It's coming. It's coming. Winter is coming. First episodes were really good and then became kind of boring. Okay. Now, the way how the back leg looks is kind of the perspective is not very good because right here we're really losing a lot. But this is just because we are in this strict 45-degree view. I knew this from the beginning. I just left this actually in just on purpose to show you what might come, because when I drew this for the first time, I wasn't really aware of it. Well, I should have, but just to show you, that's just the way how it is. This is why it is also so useful to block out quickly ideas at the beginning, like how we did, before we really do add more details to a sketch. So now I'm adding actually with more pressure, more lines to it. I'm doing this right onto the same layer. I could do this onto another layer, but I feel pretty comfortable that this is good. Again, you see I make a lot of ju. Ideally, we want to make nice straight lines. That's very true. But this is meant to be a very quick sketch. Here I will do actually my lines more strongly there, okay. But I guess what I just wanted to say is so you understand that terrible lines are terrible lines, but with enough contrast, they start to look good. A little bit more maybe here, helping this edge to pop out. Very good. Now let's go to one more layer. Okay, so here now, this is my contour. There I will really outline actually the piece. Also, again, we will try to shoot for a quick sketch look. So if there's a line that's wrong, but not radically wrong, keep it, keep it. Google quick sketches and you will be surprised how good quick illustrations look like. For example, this one was completely wrong, but it's fine, it's nice. Our tendency to perfect stuff very often is the reason why our drawings then can look kind of childish. I'm going to add just a thin line in the front so they see how that goes. Okay. Beautiful. Yeah, that's not too bad, no? So, because I have actually this ink outline, I should probably do the same also with the other stuff, which I have here. Good. So that means all this here I have. For the moment, I will select and move to maybe there. And then on this layer, I will go ahead and do the stuff too. And there, just it's actually a continuous line. Very nice. Here in this sketch, yeah, we can keep it away. And you can go now. Very good. There we have that stuff. Yeah, we're actually getting ready now to compose everything into one piece. So use your good. This layer does not really seem to add much value. It's this underline sketch. This is actually nice. We could keep this in the background. Kind of like to show how this was constructed. Now we can see when we bring this back, does this actually add something to it? Not really that much, so we can keep this turned off. I keep this really low. So the next step we will do now is we need to compose actually our piece. And for that, we also would like to very quickly add our so politely volunteering actors. I'm trying to do this rather quick. Hello. There. Let's hide everything else so we can take a look at how do they feel. See, it's actually not too bad. Cool. They can be, in terms of line thickness, a little bit thicker. Very good. And in terms of transparency, we can put them lower. Yeah, very good. Yeah, sweet. Very nice. So there's this, all that we have there. The perspective grid. Where's our perspective grid? There it is. So yeah, how do we do this? I will simply say this is all good. I can make a copy of this design. So I have the raw file, but this grid I will actually throw out now. Also this here I will throw out. The idea I will keep, and see, I'm just trying to bring this back. Very good. And now our task is, okay, how can we stack this presentation? Maybe this can go to there. Let's see how this works. Okay, maybe we turn scale on, because then if we scale it down, but no rotation, we're also scaling the stroke a little bit. So maybe like this. Okay, this top view, it's not really helping us a lot, but it might not be bad to have. So I'm not sure yet really what to do. We could, for example, see, okay, what about we make you small and then we bring you to there or here, or I don't know yet. What about we select these and make them smaller? So we have more focus actually onto the chair. There. Now this is actually maybe looking a little bit silly, because that whole chair looks huge. Okay. But again, that's, as you can see, this is the really nice part about sketching in concept. It's like Illustrator, how I'm now moving everything around. Yeah, and sometimes we have to make a decision and say, yeah, it might have been nice to have this, but it simply goes. Not enough space. Good. Okay. Now, to get this sketch into something that looks nice, we will add actually a title, and then we will add also annotations to it. To do a title, here we can make this there, and then I will do myself the favor and make a nice straight line there. And then I will lower this and zoom in and say, there, share concept. And then all this, we just remove. Maybe one swoop. How about multiples? We can try this out. We can move these things around, under it, above it, coming from the side. So a lot of creativity we have there. I will simply only select one, and maybe this one. Oh, they all have the same look. Yeah, maybe here. This one, let's rotate this a little bit. There, cool. Yeah, very nice. Cool. Okay. Then here, now we will say, I will do the same, making myself a small guideline, just as a helper. So we have now side, view, and then we have front, and the other one we call ISO. Okay, you see a lot of the views are missing. That's simply because I'm not writing this again. I like this to be the same. There I'm using the kind of like the grid lines to line this all up. There. And there. And then also here, this one I will make a copy, bring down. This is however too big. So let's make this smaller. We can do a stretch. Yeah, and then position it. Zup. And zip. Very nice. Actually, hold on. I do not like how the view is higher there. Very good. Cool. There you see now how this drawing actually starts getting kind of like alive, a little bit of completion. And then here, let's add our annotations. Annotations are, for example, what is it we really see? So for example, let's say somewhere would like to have holstered. So, and then put to here. And then we could say art shall. And maybe bend steel. There, okay. And you see how I'm drawing these arcs, not arcs, these arrows to there. Let me delete those for the moment to give you an alternative. There. Now we could also do something very boring. I mean, it works too. We could also say, okay, one to there, one back. So make it nice and clean. Zip lines works too. It's really up to you to decide. I find very often that these arcs are actually not arcs, these curves are really good. You just don't want them make them too crazy. I could also here say zip, nope, zip, yeah, very close, zip, yeah. The thing you really want to draw them fast. If you draw them slow, then they start getting kind of like smushy. There. Zack. Okay. Very good. Yeah, better. Okay. Very nice. Yeah. We also could, let's say, here we say back leg. And then we add an arrow. So that's like a nice arrow. The arrow you do not want to do is this. That's kind of like you had no interest and it's kind of boring. At least put this one in. And arrows look really good when they're a little bit longer. Then there's really like volume to it. When we do an arc, You know, keep in mind, for example, here this continues. So whoop, and then arced and arced. And then never delete all that stuff. Now we can also add, for example, lines into them. Make them look nice and illustrative. But don't do too much. You don't want to draw attention to them. Okay, very good. I would say let's keep it at this. And I think, yeah, how can we get this one back in? I'm still trying to figure out. We spent all that time onto it. Yeah, I will do actually the following. I will keep this one there and I will make a copy there. Good. And now I make a new layer. And all this, I move on to that layer. So all these lines are now composed on that layer, and this layer I can lower in transparency, and then all the stuff I could maybe put to here. See, so it's still there, but we kind of like hide it a little bit, or we put it, no, that's kitty corner. I don't know. Yeah. So this way I still have the original lines on all the different layers, and then this one is just composed on one layer. Okay, very good. Now this video was intended to be short. As always, it turned out to be longer, but I hope this was actually quite informative so you could see how we could start with something rather quick and then step by step start adding something to it and make then drawings which look proportionally more correct and are also more informative. In my opinion, this is a very effective way of sketching out ideas, particularly also when you're with a client. Very, very fast, you can block this stuff out. Particularly in today's time, with 3D modeling and 3D rendering, we can work so precise, render material so realistic. I honestly don't see much value in rendering these beautifully, because in 3D I can do it more accurately, and much more important, in 3D I can produce rendered variations with a mouse click. I cannot do this by hand. But still, this, when you meet with a client, is very impressive, and that's the reason why we should still learn it. Peace out.